Our project today is loosely inspired by artist Robin Mead. She's known for using brilliant colors and fun lines to create landscapes. Our project will include cool colors, warm colors, patterns, and of course, some sort of landscape. To get started, you're first going to need a horizon line. It can be straight or curved. Underneath your horizon line, you're going to create a parallel line copying the shape of your initial horizon line. I recommend no more than 3, maybe 4 lines underneath. Next, you're going to want to divide the paper in half. You can fold the paper in half before or just boldly mark down the middle. Now, on the horizon line, you can decide what type of land you want. There's an example of mountains. This time I'm going to do trees. On your table are other examples of landforms that you can add on your landscape, but make sure it's the same type of decoration all the way across the page. One thing I will ask is on the left side of our cool, I would like you to add a moon. That way we know that's going to be the cool side. Bonus if you add stars. Then on the right side, I'll ask you to draw a sun with rays coming out of it. That will give us plenty of space to add our warm colors in the background. After choosing 3 or 4 cool colors, it's time to start coloring in. I suggest coloring in the small areas of your project. Don't forget to use the side of your marker, not the tip. The side's going to give you a nice full color, and the tip's just going to give you a skinny line that you don't want. Fill in all of your small spaces, and then you can begin to outline others. As the artist, you can decide what spaces you want to outline and what spaces you want to fill in. For example, I decided that I wanted to use the side of my marker not only to outline the tree trunk, but to fill it in. Next, you're ready to add pattern into the lines underneath the horizon line. First, choose a color and carefully outline the space. Remember to turn your marker to its side. Now, for your pattern lines, if you want a skinny line, you can turn your marker right side up, just like I did. Once you have one pattern, you can choose another marker to create a different pattern. Remember, turn your marker to the side to get a nice thick line and outline your shape. The more marker that you have on the paper, the more color you can wiggle around with your paintbrush later. When you're done with your patterns, the last step is to outline all the things above the horizon line. This is going to create your sky color. So it may seem strange, but you're going to go around, whether you drew trees or mountains or flowers, go around with your sky color with a nice thick marker line. That means, again, you're gonna have to turn your marker to its side. Go over all the little bumps, all the little lines, and you'll be glad you did once we start wiggling your paintbrush around to create our watercolor. This next part's really fun because all you need is a clean paintbrush with a little bit of water, and we're gonna wiggle our clean paintbrush over our marker and it's gonna release the color, creating a watercolor effect. So this is why, boys and girls, I kept saying you want a thick line. It's because the more marker that you have on the paper, the more color that you can wiggle around. So choose one color to start with. I chose my light green, and all of my light green colors I'm going to wiggle over first. Now, when you're wiggling over your patterns, don't scribble. Follow the pattern shape. So this is a curved line, so I'm going to wiggle my paintbrush around the curved line. If you over wiggle with your paintbrush, you're actually going to lose your pattern, and you'll probably be a little bit sad about that. So just a little water will go a long way, just a little wiggle, and you'll be happy with the results. You can see up at the top, because my lines are vertical, I'm now wiggling up and down to keep the pattern preserved. The last step is to wiggle your paintbrush around the border that you've created for your sky color. So this is why I wanted you to outline all of your land pieces, whether they were trees or mountains or flowers or stars, so we can fill the entire paper with cool colors. So there really isn't a space that's left white at this point. Some of your wiggles need to be teeny tiny because you have small spaces, and some of your wiggles can be fairly large because you've got a big space. So carefully wiggle around until you fill up the whole space, and then we're done for the day. I hope you guys had fun painting with your cool colors, and now it's time to choose 3 or 4 warm colors. By now you should understand the process. The more spaces that you fill in all the way, the more color that you have to play with later on. The thicker the outline with your shapes, the more color you have to play with. So choose your colors wisely and make sure that you turn your marker to the side to get a nice thick line when you're outlining. When you're adding your patterns below the horizon line, keep in mind that you're going to continue the pattern that you started in your cool colors. So I'm going to continue my vertical lines. Once you've completed your patterns with warm colors and your outlines, you're again ready to take a clean paintbrush and wiggle your paintbrush around until you release that marker color and it turns into watercolor. Something I wanted to show you guys here is that I actually made a pretty big mistake in my patterns. I continued to draw vertical lines instead of those curved lines. I didn't get upset. I didn't rip my paper. I didn't start over. I just kept going because I realized when I finish this project, I'm probably not even going to notice that mistake in the first place. So If you make a mistake, boys and girls, I want you to know that you don't have to quit. You don't have to rip up your paper. You don't have to get frustrated. Keep going and wait till you get to the end of the project. You might be surprised.